Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Oh my goodness. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show.
Hey, this is Z Chun from TKO Studios, and you're listening to the Shortbox Podcast, one of TKO's favorite podcasts about comics.
You have reached the Shortbox hotline. No one is available to take your call. Leave a message and keep it geeky.
Hey, Shortbox Podcast, the Shortbox Podcast. Bader, Caesar, Ashley, Ed, what is up? I have brought my Deadpool katana straight. There's B and Arthur straight from the set of Deadpool to give you guys a shout out on your 300th episode. Holy crap! That is a lot. Vader, man, I hope I'm saying Vader, because it sounds like Vader, not Batter, but Caesar, Ashley, Ed, the Shortbox Podcast. Okay, you guys, if there was a cake for your 300th episode, I'd slice it and dice it with my katanas. Okay, so here you go. Congratulations for all your accomplishments. 300, huge deal. Congratulations. Take care of yourself. Rob Liefeld out.
Yo, Shortbox. What up? Yo, this your boy Al Letson. Episode 300 is utterly amazing. I'm just blown away by it. I love the work you do. I love all of you. I just have one issue. How come I ain't a part of the crew? I do podcasts. I'm nerdy. Come on. What's up? It ain't even right. Next time we get to episode 600, like I should be a guest or something. I shouldn't even be a guest. I should be like a co-host. I got Peabodys and shit. I fit in. How can I be down? But anyway, whatever. I just gotta say, I love this podcast. I love all of y'all. I can't wait to see you again. And I'm just super happy and proud of you, man. You guys did the damn thing. Duval.
Hey guys, it's Adam Wallet. Congrats on 300 episodes. Here's to 300 more. And I know you don't have to say it. You couldn't have done it without me. Have a good one, guys.
Yo, this is Walt. Congratulations on 300. We will shoot the shit soon. Peace.
Hi, brother. That's your mom. I listen to your radio show. I can't believe what I'm hearing from you. Honey, you're nasty. I can't believe what it come out from your mouth. I think I raised you better than that. That's the reason why you're missing the Sunday dinner. Because I guess you find something nasty. And Cesar with you too. I can't believe that, man. I guess I have to call his mom. He's nasty too. I'm sure his mom, she not gonna be happy with that. I'll talk to you later, but I'm mad.
Yo, Shortbox Nation. We made it 300 episodes, 8 years in the making. Some of you have been rocking with us since our debut back in December 2012. Some of you have stuck around despite our early episodes sounding like they were recorded with tin cans.
Holla.
A few of you probably recall Cesar's first time he ever did the Bane voice on this show. Episode 3, for those of you keeping track. Some of you maybe remember Ed's podcast debut when he was a member of an upstart called GAM. Some of you were probably here when Ashley joined the crew full time. And some of you probably started listening just this year. Regardless of the number of Shortbox episodes under your belt, we're here, and it's because of listeners like you, our unmatched Shortbox Nation, the greatest listenership a podcast could ask for. But just in case we are joined by some new friends tuning in for the first time, allow me to welcome you to the Shortbox Podcast, your soon-to-be new favorite comic book podcast focused on reviews, recommendations, and interviews of the industry's best creators. I'm your host, Botter, Rob Liefeld's favorite name to butcher, and I'm joined by my crew of sarcastic fanboys, including my right-hand man, my nasty man, Cesar Cordero.
Tonight we dine in hell.
We've got the special Edmund Danzar here with us.
Special. Hello.
And the Sultana of the Shortbox crew,
Sultana.
Lenny Hoy. Trust me, synonym.com. I was on it all night looking for a good
so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Yo, thanks, guys.
Well, good.
I'm feeling special, man. Happy 300, everyone. How are y'all feeling today?
Only you would make this a holiday. Only Bada would make this a holiday that we have to come into work to.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yo, the 300's a major event. Y'all take the day. Nah, you can't take the day off.
But I really could use it. My mom is still like, she's really
Bada,
sick.
my aunt in Puerto Rico just got smashed by this hurricane. Yeah, we can't have her on. Is that why you brought her up?
It's too late to leave a voicemail. Sorry.
Oh, ouch. Ashley, how you feeling? Happy 300.
Hey, I feel special. I really do. I thought it was just going to be like a regular
special,
episode.
Ashley.
Oh, thanks.
You thought it was just going to be a regular episode, Ashley? Do you know, how long have you been with us? Like, any chance for me to pat myself on the back?
There
I'm gonna
it
make
is.
That is true.
There it is.
We got a photographer here with us today just because. Yo, shout out to Tony Smiley,
Yo,
by the way.
So, how do you say it?
I said Smiley.
You said it
Smiley
real quick.
I said Smiley.
He goes, shout out to Tony Smith.
Like Rob Liefeld, that name.
Yeah. Swing, shing, shing, shing. That's right. As you can probably tell by now, we aren't the only ones excited for today's milestone. You're going to hear from a lot of friends of the show, past guests, and Shortbox alumni all throughout this episode. But first, we get to talk about my favorite superhero, Spider-Man, and one of the most iconic comic covers, if not comic itself, of all time, Amazing Spider-Man number 300. Now, this episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Gotham City Limit, Jacksonville's premier location for comics, collectibles, toys, and more. Check them out if you live in the area or if you ever find yourself in Jacksonville looking for a really awesome comic shop. Today's first half topic, which is Amazing Spider-Man 300, is specifically brought to you by our Shortbox patrons. We asked our patrons what comic they wanted us to cover for today's special occasion, and they let their voices be heard.
You asked for it.
Literally. Amazing Spider-Man 300 beat out Spawn 300 and Frank Miller's 300.
It hurts so good.
As you can tell, we had a theme going on by a significant margin. Ashley, was there one in particular you were hoping would win out of these three?
I was really
Pride of Baghdad?
I was rooting for Frank Miller's 300. I think that got the least amount of votes.
Oh, it was.
Was it one single
It was
vote?
like one and it was
you.
you.
It was just
Yeah.
it was her. So, yeah.
Ashley was like, it's definitely not me.
I'm like, Ashley, I can download the polls. It says Ashley Laney Hoy. Who's that?
Also, what are you, Beaker from the Muppets? What is this?
That's a great impression.
So I want to go ahead and thank our patrons for voting and helping steer this ship and, doing the work for me. I love it.
Yep.
If you're interested in voting for our next episode topic and helping us pay some podcast bills, consider becoming a Shortbox patron. We'll give you access to our private podcast feed that has bonus episodes and commercial-free versions of our weekly show. You can also score some pretty cool merch that only the Shortbox Elite have access to. See for yourself on our membership site, patreon.com/theshortbox. Say it's our pop quiz. If our listeners aren't in a position to help with their dollars, what else can they do to help us grow the show?
Thank you for asking, Butter. Cook a batch of chili fries and then take it to a public playground. Just really... No?
No, not at all.
All right.
What type of is that going to help us? Well, try again, buddy. Try again.
Okay.
What else can they
Feed
do?
the homeless.
Well...
Close. Actually, not even close. No Cuban for you at all. I would have taken leave a review /rating on Apple Podcast or tell a friend to subscribe. That's correct answers. And since you failed, I'm going to mute your mic the whole episode.
Nice.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Sweet.
No one can hear that, so stop talking.
Sweet.
But before I go any further, in the interest of those listeners who haven't read this comic, Amazing Spider-Man 300, and might be interested in reading it on their own, might I recommend giving this episode a pause and checking Comixology, the Marvel Unlimited app, or services like Hoopla to read it digitally. Now, normally, I would suggest our listeners check out their local comic shops to find a copy, but we are talking about a pretty popular and pricey back issue. And I'll ask you guys for your best guesses.
Which I'm sure you can find at Gotham City Limits for an affordable price.
Yeah, absolutely.
Layaway.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sure they do payments just like a car.
Yeah, tell them Christmas is coming up. I want
Tell them Botter sent you.
Yeah, that ain't gonna get no. Hell, you might double charge him. What's this VAT tax? I thought that was only European. I want to get everyone's best guesses. Can anyone tell me what this particular issue is roughly going for online? The closest guess wins a no prize.
Do we have a grading on it, or?
Okay,
wow,
okay,
nerd.
okay. No. Let's say from mint,
yeah,
like all the way 100% perfect to very fine.
Okay, so between like a 9.0 and like a 9.8.
Sure.
What does that mean, Ashley? And I'm playing.
You know what that means.
I'm playing a part.
But I was like, I'm playing the part of a dummy every episode I've been on. Guys.
Okay, so very nice condition. $300.
Okay. All right. 300. What about you, Ed? How much?
300 for 300. Okay.
I'm going to say...
I like you did that there, Ashley.
Oh, that's very clever. I'm going to go $2.99. Can we do prices right?
Oh.
No, I'm going to say, I think like $2.50, I think.
Okay.
I would guess.
$2.50 is not bad. All right. See, what about you?
Actual retail value is, I'm going to go with 170.
Okay.
Really?
So 300. You said 250.
Because it's not the 90s anymore.
Okay. So I'll give you guys two different prices. The CGC kind of copy and then the non-CGC version. So according to comics.gocollect.com, copies of this particular comic book, sold this month, October 2020, alone for a CGC 9.8 sold for $2,900, so about $2,900. I know, right? And then the price kind of drastically drops when it comes to CGC, as you guys know.
Yeah.
A 9.6, so only 0.2 lower, sold for about $1,000. Non-CGC copies sold on eBay like recently for between $450 to about mid $500s.
That's crazy.
Now, what about the copy that my boy J Boog has in his garage? That it's graded 2.
Silver bugs, all 8,
2.
all the corners.
You might get 2 dead cockroaches, 75 cents.
That's affordable in this
Yeah,
market.
the bus ticket. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
affordable.
That's
Hey.
crazy.
Wait, so did I win?
Yeah,
Yeah, you won, Ashley.
I was way off and I still won.
You were way closer than any of us.
Wow.
Yeah, so your prize, nothing. So per the usual. So thank you, Ashley.
You get to be part
Glad
of
I'm here.
300.
Glad to be here.
Yay.
Yay! That's definitely actually worth cheaper than those 2 dead cockroaches.
I'm noticing every time Ashley comes in, she's dressing more and more neutral.
Yeah.
Like a
Neutral
communist
colors.
just coming in with a jumpsuit. Like, I'm just not going to accessorize anymore.
State-issued jumpsuits.
She is the Sultana of the short box.
Can't
That's
handle
a
it
sick
anymore.
name.
Yeah.
Can't
I don't get
handle
enough credit for
Can't
that.
accessorize anymore.
Feel kind
around
Can't
here.
handle the burns.
Oh. That leads me to my next question. Does anyone currently own or has ever owned a copy of this
I'll be
comic?
selling them the shits.
2 copies.
Ooh, 2.
I have 2
Sell
copies.
them.
Ooh,
So
look at Mr. Privilege over here.
Wow.
Do you,
Nope, they don't get me shit.
do you still currently own any of them?
I do,
Where?
and I'm not telling you.
Oh, damn it.
They're in. You know exactly where they are. Where I keep all my comics. My
Are they
ass.
9.6 or above?
No, one of them isn't. The other one's in pretty good condition.
Cool.
I don't think I've ever owned a copy of this one, but
I don't trust sending it out to get graded, man.
Fuck no.
Like I get,
They get swap out.
you know
for
what I'm saying?
The
Like I would
Facimo
send it out,
version.
and then some guy would be like, "Yeah, fucking, this is a 3.1." I'm like, "That's not what I sent you."
I have pictures. I have
Yeah,
proof.
yeah.
I have met a few folks that have been like that have multiple copies of this, and the buddy that comes to mind, is Sebastian. Seabass.
Yeah. Oh, of
Like,
course.
I think around the same time I met you, was the same time I met Seabass, and of course that was like his prime fucking collecting days. And that was around the same time I was introduced to Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, because that's all they were looking for.
He would always pull out the comic like, take it for a spin. Like he was like a car salesman. Like, because he knew, like, you know, he knew we weren't going to manhandle it. He would just be like, what do you think, man? Take it for a spin.
And like, what am I supposed to do with it? Read it? Or
like, I'm just going to, nah, I'm good. I don't want to touch it.
Let's go ahead and dive into our review of this particular issue. I want to give a quick synopsis. Once again, we are reviewing Amazing Spider-Man number 300. It was released in May 1988. It is the first full appearance of Venom. I think the story itself is titled Venom. The script is by David Michelini.
Nice. Nicely done.
Thank you, sir. Art by Todd McFarlane.
Ooh, be funny if you messed up that name.
Todd McFartlane.
Oh, boy.
And all right, well, that's not my best joke. I got some more jokes. I promise.
I was like, I got some zingers.
Oh, all right. But the synopsis: Spidey's old alien costume has merged with reporter Eddie Brock, who thinks his career was ruined by Spider-Man. And the symbiote of the two, Venom, takes on the web slinger. At Mary Jane's request, Spidey returns to the blue and red costume as she now finds his black duds way too creepy. This is the last issue in which Spider-Man appears in the black costume. There is a cameo by the Thing of the Fantastic Four in his house slippers and
Felix the cat.
Felix the cat robe.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I also something else I want to mention. Apparently, in the original issue, there's a special Stan soapbox in place of the letters page, which happened to be a full-page editorial by Stan Lee on the occasion of Spider-Man's 300th issue. On Marvel Unlimited app, of course, they kind of get rid of all the letters pages and the ads. So I didn't have a chance to read that, but that definitely kind of piqued my interest. Did anyone find out any like interesting trivia, Easter eggs, or anything like during the research or anything?
Just some Easter eggs, since I read it online, so you can kind of like zoom in and you know and stuff like that. So I saw like that crazy moving scene because rich supermodel can't hire some effing movers.
Yeah, not when you got free 99 friends.
Jesus, yeah, some weird friends. There was like
patented Botter method. I'm moving, guys.
The biggest apartment in New York. You can't hire movers. But there was a guy with a Gumby T-shirt in there, and there was another guy. It looked like it was an Ambush Bug T-shirt, which is very, and it's a DC character, which is another
deep cut.
So that's a real deep cut. He's kind of one of the first kind of fourth wall breaking characters.
Sure,
like set in the mid '80s. So that was, and I don't know if it was him or one of the Micronauts, the grasshopper guy, but I'm thinking it's Ambush Bug. But it's like half his face, so just kind of being able to zoom in on like weird little stuff like that, and like the Felix the Cat thing.
I think we should also talk about, before we go any further, that Rick Parker did the lettering, Bob Sharon did the colors, Jim Salicrup was the editor, and our favorite cigar chomping editor from the bullpen, Tom DeFalco, was the editor in chief back in the day. Tom DeFalco was a name that is no stranger to controversy, but also put out some really good ass shit during his run.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and add that it was nice to see Rick Parker's name as the letterer.
Right.
For very selfish reasons. I got to interview him for one of our bonus episodes. Rick Parker, and Bob Camp. Thank you. And it didn't dawn on me that, Rick Parker has been doing a lot of lettering. And he even brought it up in the panel I got to do with him, was that, he still gets asked to sign that particular comic a lot. Cool. So there's a lot of folks that like have gotten David's signature, Todd's signature, and also his. And
right out the gate, you look at the credits for the comic book. There's like little spider webs hanging from it.
Yeah,
you got to wonder
really cool.
if that's totally Rick or Todd. But I would assume it's Rick.
It's hand lettered because did you see that McFarlane found one of the pages from that book? Like I think a few months ago.
No,
the page where like Eddie Brock is going to his like home gym.
Sure.
And like there's that transition panel.
Right,
where he walks through the shadow. But yeah, it has that page with the lettering on it.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so
that's badass.
Yeah, so he found that.
Nice.
That's cool. I will add as far as like trivia goes, I think it's the first full appearance of Venom. Mm-hmm. It is the 25th anniversary of Spider-Man, and it's also the first, well, at least the first ink job by Todd McFarlane. Because prior to that, I think the 2 issues prior, 299, 298, he was doing the artwork, but it was Bob McLeod that was doing the inking. And it is such a drastic change.
And his first Mary Jane with that big, luxurious 80s hair.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, and this
among other things.
This is a comic book that... Jesus Christ, Butter. You couldn't help yourself, right? You couldn't help yourself.
That was for you, Chris.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of that also later on in the episode, I'm assuming, based on some of the writing in the comic.
Oh, absolutely.
But this comic also reminds me as a journalist to never treat any other fellow journalists with any kind of fucking shade. Because you never know when they might get an alien symbiote and just make your life a living hell.
That's the weird thing is because he's the one that fucked up.
Of course, dude.
It's like,
of course, he's a victim.
You were TMZing, all right? You were trying to be TMZ. Now
it
look
says
at
he was
you.
writing for the Inquirer. That sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah.
He's like writing for.
You can't go
just
wrong.
Like a weird. And because there's a lot of, like I said, exposition in this book, because
they
that's
killed it.
and it's just like part of the time, but it's good if you haven't, like I said, dude, reading this standalone.
Yeah,
it makes sense. But just in today's like 2020 eyes, you know, it's just like, man, he's really monologuing.
A lot of show.
You know why though?
Yeah.
You know, Botter and I were talking about this before the show. It's because there's so much fuckiness around
the black suit.
The symbiote. Like so many artists and writers had touched it, and everything is weird and different, and nobody had kind of really solidified like what it does, where it comes from, what are we doing with it?
Because they were making that concurrently with the Secret Wars stuff,
right?
So, and then there was a lot of backlash because people didn't want the change.
Right.
You know, and then when they did change, and then Todd McFarlane, they were saying, I heard an interview, not from him, but he didn't like drawing the black suit.
Huh.
And,
any particular reason?
They didn't really go into it. They just said that he hated the black suit. He wanted to draw. He said, and I don't know if he was grandstanding at this point in his career, but he's like, if you want me to do the book, I could see him doing this totally. It's like, if you want me to draw the book, I'm not drawing that black costume.
Huh.
You know?
It's just so much easier.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
But you know what though? It's like a white whale, like a Moby Dick thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like, yo, I drew for Spider-Man.
And then you didn't draw the real Spider-Man.
Exactly. Yeah. I can see that.
Okay.
I can see that in Todd's head, like somebody rolling up on him and be like, bro, you drew like the fucking Batman Beyond costume. You didn't draw the iconic fucking.
And did you?
Yo,
have you
talk
guys heard
about
about
gatekeeping.
Have you heard about the rumor that Venom was originally planned to be a woman? Did you guys hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Like
know
she
that.
was. It was supposed to be. The story was that it was a couple and she was pregnant, and then Spider-Man was fighting something, and they were like hailing a cab, and then so Spider-Man swings and he's fighting somebody, and the cab driver gets distracted and runs the husband over, and then she goes into labor and the kid dies, so her husband and kid dies. And then
God.
the symbiote, it was really dark. And then I don't know if it was Tom DeFalco. It was pretty much saying like some broad fighting Spider-Man.
Yo,
no way.
Yes, okay, I do remember that. And I think it just goes back to what C was saying, to like dive into the trivia, the Easter eggs, and all the history of the black suit would be its own episode.
I know, it's crazy.
Because I know, like John, you could tie it to John Byrne.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be Iron Fist.
Yeah,
he wanted a suit because Iron Fist suits got cut up by swords and shit.
Right, this was supposed to be like
he wanted
that.
a self-healing magic suit.
And then I know that like a Marvel fanboy sold the idea of the black suit to Jim Shooter, like $220. And then Ron Friends was going to use it, but
that young man was Glenn Danzig.
So it's definitely been passed around as far as like who did what aspect. Like you could literally break it down by different aspects. But I wanted to ask Ashley because now we have this tradition where we'll let you lead and answer this pivotal question. Ashley, did this comic book respect your time?
It did. I've never read old Spider-Man before.
I was about to say, if you haven't watched Batman the animated series or read Spider-Man.
No, I've read newer Spider-Man, like last 10 years Spider-Man. But no, I liked it a lot. I didn't realize Peter Parker was so muscly. He's like,
how many shirtless? I was like, yo,
dude, there's something for the ladies in this episode for sure. For sure, that guy's. He's like, and he's not like even slender. He's like pretty muscular.
Bulky.
Ed,
I know.
there's something for everybody.
Is it hot in here, guys?
Yeah, like. You know what's funny? You mentioned that, like, and I know you mentioned like MJ, like, kind of being drawn as like a sex pot in this, like, complete issue. So, I had written down something, and I don't know, maybe this will resonate with you guys. This is kind of like back when Marvel sort of had street cred, right? This is actually kind of an edgy issue because you got to like
for
imagine,
the time, yeah,
like for the time, kids were reading this shit.
Yeah.
And
I thought women just walked around in negligees.
Right.
Until I was an adult. It's like, this is pretty sweet. It's like, it doesn't look comfortable, but they just sleep in that stuff.
And then when you got sad, they just took their shirt off.
Right.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hold on. We'll let me say what I'm going to say.
Where are we going?
Well, what I wanted to say was that it seemed like Todd McFarlane and David wanted to tell a crime story more than anything else. Not typically a Spider-Man story. And I don't think you could do this with any Spider-Man bad guy except for Venom.
Yeah.
Because this is more or less just the idea and the way that Venom harasses Peter Parker. It's the same way that Max Cady does in The Executioners. And it starts in this issue. And if you aren't familiar with John D. McDonald's crime novel, his seminal stock manifesto, if you will, I recommend it under the film adaptation of Cape Fear, if you guys have seen Cape Fear. This is essentially Cape Fear the comic with a McFarlane drawing MJ like a femme fatale and Peter kind of in the role of the whodunit protagonist, right? That's why he's so jacked. He's not like the nebbish little skinny boy anymore. Yeah. He's a fucking Sam Spade, like, it was cloudy outside and I took the job. Like, he's one of those characters in this. The gritty streets of New York is the backdrop. So it's no surprise that this is like one of the quintessential Spider-Man issues, right?
Yeah. He still has that kind of like, woe is me.
For sure.
See, that was really well said. I wanted to mention that I am...
I thought you were like, see, that was really well said. Don't you ever upstage me again.
300 episodes you haven't learned.
Well, I wanted to mention that I am $10,000 in debt to Ben at Gotham, and he said he would break my legs if I don't play this real quick. Yeah, so this is where I pick up my comics.
Excuse me, might I remind you the rules here at No Touch Collectibles? No loitering, no friendship, no touching the merchandise without gloves, and no free bags and boards.
Yeah, man, I know. This shop sucks. I don't even know why I shop here.
Well, we could go to Jacksonville premier location for comic books, collectibles, toys, and more.
You okay?
At Gotham City Limits, you get 10% off comic books in your pull. 20% off trade paperbacks and hardcovers. 10% off high-end figures and statues. And free bags and boards. It's practically criminal.
And that's why Gotham City Limits is a place of the people.
How many times have you watched the Batman trilogy?
I'm ashamed to say.
Well, I mean, they're not bad.
One time for every time the Joker has taken the city hostage.
Yo, this is Botter. Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I'll keep it brief. I wanted to let you know about a massive sale we have going on over at the Shortbox store on all of our merchandise and apparel. That's theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com. You can now save 20% off your entire order using the discount code YOO, Y-O-O. So if you've been waiting for the right time to finally buy that gauntlet snapback, or if you ever wanted to buy any of the shirts you see me wear on the podcast, well, now's your chance to get them for a steal. We still have a few sizes left of everything, but they won't last long, and once they're gone, they are gone. And then I mentioned that all of our apparel is screen printed on high quality material. None of that heat transfer or direct to garment stuff. Our shirts are some of the most comfortable ones you'll ever wear, and the hats look even better in person. So wear your support for the Shortbox Nation proudly, knowing that you're going to look damn good doing it. Get to theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com as soon as you can, and don't forget to use that discount code YOO, Y-O-O, to save 20% off your entire order. All of this information can be found in this episode's show notes if you want to get there faster. Thanks for not pressing fast forward. Now back to the show. Are you done with that?
Yeah, I'm done.
Well, let's just go take our business there.
Gotham City Limit. It's the comic book shop Jax deserves, but not the one.
All right. I get it. It's a great shop. Let's just go. Okay, and we're back. Ed, let me go to you real quick. Mm-hmm. What is your familiarity with the story? I'm assuming you've read it before, and this is probably your maybe second, third time reading it?
It's been a while because I think I didn't really read any of the McFarlane stuff till he had his own series. I wasn't really reading, wasn't really reading, especially back then, but I think I may have read it, but it never really. I was never really like a Venom fan, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nothing I really seeked out. I seeked out more of the Todd McFarlane solo stuff. So I honestly don't remember reading this until recently.
Okay.
So it's like and then like I said, it's much easier to do now. Just on can find it online. But yeah.
Ashley, I know that I think a few episodes ago, one of the most blasphemous things you said was
You're still mad
was that you were not a fan of Spider-Man per se because you had just never cared to get into the character.
Mm-hmm.
This is your first time reading this issue and Venom's origin period, right?
Yeah, it was.
And I guess what was the good, the bad, and the ugly for you?
It was just so like dramatic and like soap opera-y, and I guess that's how like the old comics are. And the way that it was drawn, just like her being like this supermodel with like just her hair and her eyes, and it's definitely different than what I'm used to, but it was fun. I mean, I would go back and read these just for the fun of it.
Yeah, and it's like this is like the beginning of McFarlane's style, so you can kind of see what's coming up.
This is straight out of an actual crime pulp story, which is where you get all these elements. Like you'll notice in the beginning of the comic, like MJ is dressed like a femme fatale would be in one of these stories that were, come on in, honey. And like, there's the private investigator
she
who's
walked
like,
into my office.
Exactly. The rain was coming down like
Legs
gobs
for
of oatmeal.
days.
Yeah. And then at the end though, when the story is, semi-resolved, you'll notice she's dressed a little more conservatively because she no longer fits that role in the story anymore. There's resolution. And, Spider-Man is not like jacked anymore. You don't see him taking his shirt off, anything. He's back to his traditional costume. It's old fashioned. Like there's the resolution of the mystery, right? Everything is back in order. This darkness that was introduced into the story is now thrown away, and we're back, baby. It's Spider-Man. He's, Peter Parker.
Like you remember him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I said, only Venom could you do this with. And that's why I think a lot of the movies where they try to shoehorn Venom in, they don't get it right because they're not doing the right story. They need to do a Cape Fear type story where part of what makes Venom scary is that it's not the, I got teeth, I punch you now. It's the, I'm just, hey buddy, what's up? I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
But I'm harassing you.
Yeah.
Well, get away from me. What am I doing wrong? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go tell the cops. Go tell them. Tell them I'm doing something wrong. And then he morphs into a fucking cop uniform. He's like, I'm everywhere. And then walks away. Like, brilliant. So, I don't know. I really like this issue a whole lot. It's crazy how self-contained it is, considering it's a Marvel story, right? Like, they could have just been like, left it a cliffhanger. But they didn't. Like, they wrapped it up.
You've almost kind of got to look at this as part of a larger, literally a part of a larger saga, the saga of the symbiote costume.
Right.
I think it stands I think it stands alone on its own as a single issue. I mean, it's the 300th issue.
And that's why I think the exposition works in this issue. Because it's like, who's Eddie Brock? Even though it's kind of awkward, like in the middle of a fight scene, he just monologues
big time.
for
I will
2
say
pages.
that was probably my
guns.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest gripe was overtelling, not showing. I mean, they could have easily just shown some flashback panels.
But let's also remember in this comic, he murders a cop.
Yeah.
Venom actually, how many times...
12-year-old faced cop.
Can you think...
really weird looking.
Sorry, but I don't mean to
super
interrupt you,
bushy
but
eyebrows.
How many times can you remember where a Spider-Man bad guy straight up murks just kills somebody in a panel, you're looking at it like he died. Like, and Venom
it's not gory, but it's still
but you're like,
crazy.
holy shit, he killed somebody. Like, he's just like, needed to happen.
And the symbiote's very theatrical, wanting to plot his death at the church that he defeated him.
Man. and what's cool is that I think
flair.
I think sometimes we forget.
Catholics, man.
I think
Catholic. The symbiote's Catholic.
I think it's overlooked that symbiote ends up. And that's what I'm saying is if you read all the previous issues that lead up to this, like Secret Wars 8, where Spider-Man gets that first black costume. I think Amazing Spider-Man 252 is the first appearance of him in that full costume in the full series. And then there's a bunch of issues afterwards. Like 258 is where he separates himself from the costume after learning, it's alive, it's sentient.
This is actually alive?
Yeah.
It's weird that he was surprised that it's a living thing.
Yeah, man.
It's like Wayne Campbell's girlfriend from Wayne's World, like his ex,
But like I said, I think this issue stands out.
This is like two jilted exes teaming up to
and
go
that,
after you.
That enhances how creepy this is because you've already
that's how he finds out he's Peter Parker is through the symbiote, right?
Yeah.
Just absorb. Okay.
You know, if you don't play your cards right, Wayne, you're going to lose me. Psycho.
But there's a lot of pieces to this prior to I think 300 is the cake topper. But I think you really get a full story and you really get to appreciate Eddie Brock making his appearance if you followed Amazing Spider-Man up to that time. I mean, there was even some cameos in like Web of Spider-Man #1 with that iconic Charles Vest cover.
Talk dirty to me.
Or the hand.
Talk dirty to me.
The hand just pushes
that Charles Vest.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a bunch of small off-panel cameos where it's Eddie Brock, clearly Venom, pushing Spider-Man and just fucking with him like the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
Shout out to Charles Vest.
Yo, big time. Like Web of Spider-Man #1 is all about him finally, I think, defeating the he uses Reed Richards' sonic gun. They encapsulate it, and then later on issues, he's just web swing along the way, and he's getting shoved. He's at a train station as Peter Parker. Someone shoves him, and he doesn't know who it is.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing like they start slowly revealing. Like I think in 298. You get, there's a one page where it's like Eddie Brock slamming his fist a few times, and every panel is the symbiote slowly covering it.
Yeah.
And then in 298, you get kind of like that full kind of page appearance. And then 300, you get the backstory and all that. So 300 to me, like I said, for a big annual kind of issue, it works. It's good. But I think you've got to have read. Like you have to account for those other lead ups to really get that full impact and that full story and really understand like, damn, it only enhances how creepy and the tone
that and even just the backstory behind the scenes about the controversy behind just having the black suit.
Right.
And then it's like, and you were talking earlier about him just being like a mirror to him. And then they I don't know, did the Last Hunt was before this, right? Craven's Last Hunt?
Yeah, because he was still in the black
he's
suit.
Using he's using the black suit, kind of imitating him. Yeah. So they didn't quite mirror that.
I was about to say that this is the exact same thing, right? So like I've had a conversation with one of my best friends about superheroes where like you go into the arch enemy and the antithesis, and they're two different things, right? So like Batman's arch enemy is the Joker, but his antithesis is Bane, right? Because they're both kind of the same, except just a little shove into another direction, and they're essentially looking at each other from opposite ends of the mirror, right? So you have Spider-Man's arch enemy would probably be the Green Goblin, right? Like Norman Osborn has made his life a living hell on at the level of the Joker.
He helped him move, though. That was pretty cool.
That's true. That's true.
He did help him move.
But the antithesis is Venom. Like Spider-Man's antithesis is Venom. Like they're both journalists.
Yeah.
They both are like essentially like Spider-Man was a nerd, but Eddie Brock was like a bro dude who worked at like TMZ, right?
His house is just a gym. It's
right.
Just like a gym.
Yes.
There's no other furniture.
So like they have the same costume. They look the same. Spider-Man doesn't have a mouth because, thematically anybody could be Spider-Man. As soon as you start personalizing it, then you take the ability of the hero to be passed from anybody, right? Like Eddie Brock specifically has a mouth because it's like, no one else can be me.
This
but
is
me.
a creepier mouth than I think even the teeth.
Yeah, I like the regular human teeth better.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't want like sharp teeth. Like, scary.
Yeah, before the tongue and the sharp teeth and stuff like that.
Even like, that's a good point because I feel like the tongue and the teeth that later became popularized.
Overkill.
Exactly, and it's almost like too easy. It's like
it's on the nose is what it is.
Exactly.
Like it's real on the nose.
But it's
like
he's a total like '90s character though.
For sure,
the edgy because he basically became so popular they made him into like an anti-hero. Like,
right. But
like a vigilante.
Here, there's no redeeming quality.
No.
Like, he has no redeeming quality, which works so well. And it's something you really kind of don't see in a Spider-Man bad guy. I think they messed up making him Venom Lethal Protector later on, where it was like, oh, man. Like,
yeah, it's just one of those things that's like they come too popular. It's almost kind of like the Punisher, where they became too popular that
he's definitely
we got to turn him.
He could have been a Sabretooth, like the equivalent to Sabretooth as far as Wolverine is concerned. But
actually, is there a particular panel, page, or moment in this comic book that maybe resonated with you personally, or just visually was striking for you?
Just the way that it started out, like I was not expecting that. Just like
that's a great
just
page.
in the corner, just like terrified looking. Like I really did not think that the comic was going to start out like that. And it kind of set the mood. So that was like, that one just the first thing you look at. You're like, oh God, what am I in for? And then the one panel where he's like smothering the police officer with like the symbiote, and he's got like that super arched like
it looks like he snapped his spine.
Very dynamic,
like super dynamic pose. Those two definitely.
Damn! Oh my God! It's like a '90s like crime drama. Which, by the way, guys, Law and Order SVU. If you aren't on it, hop on that shit before it comes mainstream. All right.
Stupid. So it's not breaking news that I think we're all fans of the Todd father. Hell, I mean, we dedicated a whole episode to him back in episode 255.
Thank you, Butter. I was about to ask what episode that was.
He was the 7th Artist Spotlight episode we did following Bernie Wrightson. But I wanted to know what exactly. Remind our listeners who might have not heard that Artist Spotlight. And Ed, I'll look to you for this one. What exactly is it about Todd McFarlane's style or body of work wins your admiration for him?
I think he transcends his work. I think just the figure he's become, just because he basically was started as a hotshot artist, was super successful, could have just stayed at Marvel.
Right.
His whole career, he could have been a lifer at Marvel, but he just basically, he's just his...
Looking at you, Junior.
Yeah, he's just so... Like, he basically left a really well-paying gig. He was already a millionaire, drawing Spider-Man, because that's when comics were on fire. And then he took the biggest gamble, basically drafted... And it's funny because he'll say, got these other artists to basically, defect from Marvel to start this company. And he's just more than an artist. He's like one of those guys that just transcends.
He's got a cult of personality.
And he's a character. Sure. And he's always in character. And like him or not, he's very, like, his people love him or hate him.
He was born to be the face of a company.
Yeah. He basically started as an artist and basically created an empire and is still running like the most successful independent, publisher out there.
Big ups, Canada.
Yeah. So and I've always liked his style. I think I first saw his work. It might have been the Wolverine Hulk that he did.
Right.
And it's just like his stuff was so different.
It was John Byrne turned up to 11.
Yeah. Man. And they were going away from that house style. You could see like, okay, they're letting artists be more, show more characteristic.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice. Ashley being our resident image, like, aficionado.
Now she's a VP.
Could you, I was right. Like, could you see some of, like, the things yet to come in this comic regarding Todd McFarlane's work at Image? Or even some of the artists now are doing stuff at Image?
Yeah, I guess I could. What's funny is, like, for some reason, I've, like, never been a fan of him, but, like, this makes me respect him. And like seeing the work that he's done. But yeah, I think he was going to start Image. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. Yeah. Like start this huge thing.
I will go ahead and say that, this being, I think, I mentioned it, this was his first issue that he was inking his own stuff, at least on Spider-Man. The best is yet to come. I think, because I kind of fast forward because he stays on for Amazing Spider-Man for a few more issues. Hell, he stays on up until well after Venom returns, because Venom returns back in Amazing Spider-Man in 315. There's that three-part
such
arc.
A good story.
Yes,
do we always talk about
maybe
it?
Even better than this, to be honest, because it's such a good standalone. That's where he harasses, Aunt May. He challenges Spider-Man
within bounds of the law.
Yes, he challenges Spider-Man to a duel on that island. It is so good. I think it's 315 through 318,
and the Fantastic Four come back.
Yeah. But his art gets so much better, and I know he stays inking his stuff well into those. Right. So, and that was my not even really a gripe, to be honest. It's really cool to see, okay, this is kind of rough, because there is a panel that made me kind of double take, and it was...
there's some strange stuff going on.
Yeah, well, in particular, it's this one right here. Like I said, if you got the Marvel app opened up, it's page 25. But the way he draws, like, it's really heavy-handed inking. Yeah. It's like, damn, that don't even look like inking. It looks like he's half black. But it's cool too. If you were to follow along, he gets so much better at his inking, and he really refines.
Is like one of his probably first inking gigs too.
It is.
If you see and you can even, just for another artist, go back and look at like the first couple issues of Savage Dragon, where Eric Larson inks.
Sure,
it's horrifying looking, compared to what he can do. This looks like he just took a Sharpie and just inked it.
That's a testament to the kind of story they're telling too, Botter. Is that this is a noir. Yeah. This is Spider-Man noir essentially before it came out.
There's some one of my gripes artistically. Todd McFarlane can draw buildings, right? We can agree? Okay.
Sure.
But there's some panels.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
And I don't know if it just pops out more because I read it online.
I'm about to say the same
So
thing.
it's like there's like these photocopied things of the city, especially in that last page. If that last page was all hand drawn,
damn it,
beautiful,
brilliant. But like
Beautiful.
you could tell, like it's like, damn,
it
like,
could be the
what
time
is
thing.
this? Yeah,
but it's weird because there's panels where he is drawing buildings in perspective,
Sure.
but then they photocopy this, and it's like, and with his style, that's a common thing in comics,
right?
But it doesn't fit his style. You know,
Right,
if it was
right,
like a
right.
David Aja,
Right.
of Hawkeye, that fits. You can
Also.
photocopy the backgrounds, but with someone as dynamic as an artist as him, it's like it's kind of jarring, and it probably on newsprint it doesn't pop out as much. You know, if it was reading the original comic, but in the reading it online and being able to kind of zoom in, it's just like
I have a hypothesis about that. Tom DeFalco was the editor-in-chief at the time, and no disrespect to him, because like I said, I remember reading Spider-Man and other Marvel titles as a kid and kind of not looking up to, but like he was a familiar name when you would
saw
look
his
at
name
the,
on the front of every book.
the bullpen. But the idea is that Tom DeFalco was notorious for like deadline issues.
Yeah.
Deadline issues were a big deal, and it's a kind of like what he was like they're like, yo, you never make fucking deadline.
McFarlane can be slow.
And the idea was like, well, you guys keep changing the production schedules, is what he would say.
Yeah.
So it could be that the release date for this may have got bumped up to where maybe if Todd McFarlane really wanted to noodle and create a cityscape.
And he did draw the 2 previous issues.
Right. So they could have been like...
And he's inking too.
Right. Like, hey, yo, chop, buddy. Like, this shit's due tomorrow. What? Are you fucking kidding me? I still got a whole city to draw.
And I'm not... This is
No,
not
it
like
stuck
a top
out.
thing.
No, it stuck out
but
for
it's
sure.
just like... It's just so... It's kind of... Especially reading it digitally. It's like...
Right.
eh.
You could tell it's jarring.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about early Venom and Eddie Brock is that they really played into how
thick his eyebrows were.
One, his already broken psyche, ego. I mean, he even says, I was basically on the point of like depression and
he was going to kill himself.
Yeah, suicide, right?
And he knew it was a mortal sin as a Catholic. He was
Yeah.
still going to do it.
I love when they play around with allowing him to change his costume, because one of my favorite panels are just kind of scenes in this whole book is when Spider-Man is tied to a giant church bell,
Oh,
like
and he's the
webbed
priest?
beyond. Yeah, and it's like it's
So that is the Venom suit. It was kind of
Yeah.
confusing at first.
And it's interesting because like a priest's cassock is black and white.
Yeah.
And Venom's costume is black and white.
and what a way
I just thought of Nicolas Cage in Face Off.
It's such
He's grabbing that girl's ass in the choir.
Honestly though, it's such a dark
how
it's such a dark like pull from like something a pulp villain would do. Even a fucking Edgar Allan Poe villain would do. It's so Poe in nature to have like
The
that
symbiote
sort of like
has, very
dramatic,
theatrical.
very dramatic sort of revenge, like the Cask of Amontillado.
We can't just kill him.
Yeah,
tie him to this bell.
Yeah.
and then
pay.
to get smushed,
Monologue.
absolutely get like, actually crushed by this bell.
Yo, don't ever make an artist mad ever, ever. Actually, we're good, right?
And
we're good.
And
I got pictures of Rufio on the way. Don't worry.
And I'm probably giving this way too much props, but I love the way Spider-Man outthinks, the situation of like, let me use the momentum of the swinging bell to break free of.
That's something that the cartoon and subsequent things afterwards do better, where like they use the church bell gongs, the sound of that, to drive the symbiote crazy, where he's like, it hurts so much,
Yeah.
bong, like.
What did you think about this? Like,
Here we go.
Was the writer like an amateur photographer?
Dude.
He's like, hey, Mary Jane, I got to get my SLR, babe. I'll come back.
Standard.
What?
What was it? Standard.
And they put the little, like, what it stood for.
You know what's
Can
funny?
you just say I'm getting my camera?
I like
What
that.
the? And I only got 36 exposures, and I don't know if I can do this. Like, what the? Bro, we get it. You know how to use a camera.
Like, you'd
Who
figure.
talks like that?
Like, okay,
Who
so
That's Tony. Does he do that?
since we're talking, hold on. Since we're talking, I think
I noticed too.
I think something needs to be addressed. There is a penis joke in this comic.
Oh, boy. After the Austin Powers thing.
After
You're a
fucking-
tiger, baby. Yeah, sexy.
After Mary
I don't know
Jane
if I can do
decides
this.
fucking to take off her shirt,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah, he was getting
there's
sad.
a box bubble that says,
I don't know if I
and
can
I quote,
Hold on, wait.
slowly Peter's spirits begin to rise.
There's
And I read that and I was like,
Boner.
Jesus Christ.
yeah. That's the daddiest dad joke.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
And
my
there was-
God. Can they say that?
Well, it's innuendo, but
How did they get? You know what? Tom
That wasn't
DeFalco,
even
bro.
in-
Shouts out to my boy Tom DeFalco.
Before that,
Perfect points.
when Mary Jane wakes up in just lingerie, and
I'd like to
it's
eat
like
that.
It's like, yeah, it's like I already know what I want for breakfast.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
oh God,
I was like,
Peter, calm down.
I mean, his name's Peter. What do you want?
Yes, it's like, oh, I'm so bummed I can't take pictures of pretty ladies. How about something for our private collection?
Oh.
And speaking of like dad jokes, there's like a lot of. I keep going back to this moving scene. It's
Fucking
just so
Penis
funny.
Parker.
Yeah,
There's a lot of dad jeans, which I learned that term from you, Ashley,
Dad
back in the day.
jeans? Yeah.
Dad, like a lot of t-shirts tucked into jeans.
Oh, for sure.
Like-
It was the 90s.
It's
with
like-
a belt.
It was like,
Like
ah,
80s, late
was like
80s,
88,
early
yeah.
90s.
88.
You get that
big
residual
belt buckle.
80s like hair, like, and all that
oh yeah,
like fashion shit left over.
oh, so funny.
It wasn't going anywhere.
And I know like that's part of McFarlane's. He wanted to update the look of the character, but sometimes that really dates the looks of the characters too.
Sure.
See, I had a question for you because you're one of my favorite people to chat Spider-Man with. Do you consider this essential Spider-Man reading? And if not, where does it stand in your pantheon of Spider-Man stories / crossovers?
No, of course it does. Of course it's good Spider-Man reading. Is this should it be considered like something that transcends Spider-Man or something that like, whoa, if you're a fan, you need to read this.
It's a milestone issue.
Absolutely.
Too, you know?
Absolutely. Because it does something that no other Spider-Man story really does, and that's Spider-Man's known for like street level bad guys that could aspire to world domination, but they hate him so much that their own hatred keeps them from going beyond like, fuck you, Spider-Man.
That's the whole
like,
Sinister Six.
I could, they could all
everybody.
team up and then just completely dominate the world if they wanted to. Doc Ock is smart enough.
Yeah.
He's not less smarter than Doctor Doom, but they fucking hate Spider-Man. And thematically, that's kind of the point of Spider-Man. The idea that there's all these people. Life is never going to give you a fucking break, but you have to like persevere. And there's always going to be haters out there that fucking try and tell you like you can't do that because
He's
they
dating
themselves
a rich supermodel. That's pretty sweet.
at this point, right? Like that's
Fuck you, Spider-Man.
that's kind of the oh shit. Well, Ed just became a Spider-Man villain because he's a hater.
Venom.
Look,
I gotta go with a fellow Ed. I gotta hang. I gotta back him up.
If I ever need encouragement or motivation for the gym, I do think about Eddie Brock's sweet pumping iron.
Oh, dude,
Go get my sweat on, bro.
Dude, there's nothing cooler than to have a fucking symbiote spot your ass at the gym.
Oh my god.
You're doing like bench presses. You're like, I fucking can't do it. And like the symbiote's like, you got it, man. You fucking got it, man. You can do this. One more, man. Come on, one more.
Yeah,
All right,
he is.
So I will admit that I completely forgot, or I just did not know at all that the name. I like how they incorporate the name Venom. Ed Brock's like, I go by Venom because of the venom I was spewing writing
My venomous articles.
Yeah. I was like, get this corny shit out of here.
This is super corny.
But like, it's also something that makes sense, right?
No,
like,
big time.
Like, what do they say?
I thought it was kind of cool in a way.
What do they say? Bitterness is it's like bitterness and unforgiveness is the poison that you drink and expect other people to get sick from.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the idea. That's why he exists.
Ed, question for you, and I want C to chime in and Ashley chime in where you can.
Absolutely not.
Who is your favorite Spider-Man artist?
Oh boy.
Yeah, take that. Speechless.
Damn it.
Botter Milligan, host of the year. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give some of
you
mine.
suck for this, by the way.
I'll give some of mine. I'll give some of mine.
There's so many
to the
great
300th episode
For
to
the
lay this
hard-hitting
shit.
questions.
I know.
So, I'll go ahead and share some of mine because I think Tom McFarlane is definitely up there. I think his Spider-Man is so iconic and he made it his own.
I like Mark Bagley a lot.
Yo, Mark Bagley is probably my number one because of my nostalgia and close.
He does a really cool Spider-Man. Yeah.
I will also add, only because I was looking back through the Web of Spider-Man stuff, Charles Vess paints or draws, paints, whatever it is, amazing.
He's
Spider-Man,
like one
no
of those
pun
like
intended.
fine artists turned comic book artists.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll also throw John Romita, both senior and junior.
Bro, you can't pick like 5 million of them. Pick one. What's your favorite?
Mark Bagley, but runner up.
No, runner up.
God
I think
damn
number
it.
one because you're making us pick number one.
Just from
Give me your top three. There you
Just
go.
from,
Mark Bagley, Charles Vest is up
just
there,
from
and
what
Ramita.
had the most, I guess, impact on me as a kid. I have to say Todd McFarlane. I have to say he's probably my number one for what because like I said, I don't read a ton of Spider-Man stuff.
Okay.
If I'm being completely honest, I would say what I grew up with was Mark Bagley and Junior. And I was a huge Spider-Man reader. Like, I still have my Spider-Man 30th anniversary poster from the 90s.
Yeah.
And
his Stravinsky run is...
Oh, dude. I was about to say, like, it's a shame that Junior came on at the time of the Clone Saga. Like, legitimately penciling Spider-Man consistently during the 90s. Which sucks because that's how people remember his run.
There's a shit sandwich to draw.
Right?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Make this good. Oh.
But as a man looking back, I have to say, John Romita, dude, they're not dated. Like, you can look at those comics and they're so cool. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, like there's a cartooniness. You like cartooniness in comics? John Romita's got you.
Well, I was just looking at all these images of Spider-Man, just scrolling through and like clicking on the ones that I remember, and they were all John Romita Sr.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So wait, like, do you like Ryan Otley?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of like, right?
Yeah.
What? Have you seen his Spider-Man stuff?
No, I haven't.
It's not bad. Like, I read Haunt. Haunt was my first experience of Ryan Otley, and I was kind of like, okay, Todd McFarlane kind of rubbed his stank on it a little bit too, right? Like, he's like, you got to have Todd. I think.
Okay.
No, it's a Kirkman joint.
Oh, Kirkman. Okay, that's
it's
right.
a Kirkman joint,
Okay.
and it was McFarlane was doing inks, and Ryan Otley was doing the pencils, and I was kind of like, okay. But when Ryan Otley got on board with Spider-Man, it's so much fun to read.
Dude,
and I highly recommend his run. Is Nick Spencer the writer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Nick Spencer's the writer, Ryan Otley's the artist, and I think you might enjoy it because it feels like an image book.
Yeah.
But you get like the melodrama and the humor and the I'll get you-ness of Spider-Man, which is really, really nice.
I like Nick Spencer too.
I'm going to change mine to Ramita. You convinced me.
Yeah.
Change it. You're right.
Dude, I could fucking sell Spider-Man.
So it sounds like officially, because I think anytime that we all agree on one particular topic, we can go ahead and add it to the Short Box Hall of Fame. So it sounds safe to say the Short Box Hall of Fame best Spider-Man artist is John Romita Sr. Is that safe to say?
I would say. For me.
I'd vote.
I'm not gonna speak for
I think we've
anybody.
all
It's too iconic. I can't say.
All right,
no to
boom. Gavel, bang, bang, bang.
Dude,
John Romita Sr.
Oh my God, man. Spider-Man is directly responsible for me getting married to Sarah, man. Because without me being... Spider-Man was like how I got into comics. Like pre-Batman. Like I didn't have any Batman comics. Spider-Man was my guy. And because I was a little fucking nerd, the idea of cracking jokes while somebody's trying to kill you...
being a smart ass.
Right. It's like, oh my God, this is that guy. And I got into Spider-Man hardcore. And I never, ever not liked Spider-Man so much. Then when I met Botter, I found out that was his fucking favorite dude.
Uh-oh.
And we cultivated a friendship. And we fucking basically, he brought me onto this show. Sarah heard the show before she met me in person, so she knew what I sounded like. We met as a result of all of us meeting from the podcast at Kickbacks. The Short Box is directly responsible for me meeting my wife. One thing leads to another. We're married, blah, blah, blah. Thank you, fucking Spider-Man.
Wow.
Yo, happy 300, everyone.
Bam!
I think we're at a good stopping point. I will say our next Comic Spotlight episode will be a comic chosen by this month's birthday boy, our very own Cesar Cordero.
Oh, shit.
Have you finalized your pick yet?
Do you need me to?
Yes.
Yes.
Like right now?
Not right now. Do any
Tell us
come to
off air.
mind?
No, I got it.
Oh.
Do you want to make the announcement?
Yeah, I can tell you right now.
Drum roll.
What's
Are you
the
ready?
next-
Ready?
yeah.
It's surprise.
What's our
Shocker,
homework?
guys.
What's our
Shocker.
homework?
Something.
Mad Love by Bruce Timm.
Oh, cool. I actually have that.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
hardcover.
one issue.
Okay.
And it's a really good Batman issue. And without it, you don't get Curse of the White Knight or White Knight.
Okay.
Because it's the first Harley, Batman, Joker trilogy, like triangle story.
I like that. All right, that's a good one. So that'll be our next homework assignment. After that one, we'll look to our True Believer tier patrons to help us select the following episode's homework and spotlight.
And also, you could just watch the episode on the animated series. It's the same thing.
So if you're listening and you want to make a suggestion for a future episode, consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/theshortbox. has all the information you need. Since this is a special occasion, in lieu of our normal music break, we've got some more friends calling in, so we'll hear from them first, and we'll get right back. We got some emails to read. I want to go ahead and thank the patrons who voted on Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Thank you for your money.
Yeah, exactly. And helped us select today's topic. Let's go ahead and play these voicemails, and then we'll be right back, so stay tuned.
You have reached the Short Box Hotline. No one is available to take your call. Leave a message and keep it geeky.
Short Box. Geek. Sandra. Anyways, 300 episodes. Not my 300th episode, obviously, because, I dropped the ball off. But anyways, 300 episodes, but I'm going to bask in the glory, bask in that. Anyways, I couldn't remember if you said it was Tuesday. I think you said it was Tuesday. Tuesday we're going to be recording. Yeah, so I got you. I took off for work. I'm going to be there. So I feel like the dude that just joined a successful basketball team, and, he's winning championships. So, we made it. All right, man. Well, I'll see you Friday. We'll talk later. Bye.
What up, nerds? This is Bob from Straight Chilling Podcast Horror Movie Review. I wanted to call in and congratulate the Short Box crew on reaching their landmark 300th episode. What an achievement that is. You guys do fantastic work, and you've been doing it year after year. It's been a real pleasure knowing you guys. It's been a pleasure working with you guys, and I look forward to working with you guys some more in the future. Keep putting on for the comic book nerds across the land. And as always, keep chilling. Talk to y'all later.
2013, episode 33, A Guy's Girl's Guide to Turtle Soup. That was my first introduction to the Short Box when I was invited by Ryan from GAM to show up to some random guy's house to record a podcast in the spare room. Doesn't sound shady at all, does it? Now flash forward 7 years and 267 episodes later, that random guy, along with his incredible team, now records 10 feet away from me every Sunday while I try not to curse out the Jags so loud you can hear it in the background of their recordings. All jokes aside, congrats on 300, and know this is just one of the many milestones you guys all have ahead of you.
What up, Shortbox Nation? It's Chris Hohola, aka JoJo. I helped co-host alongside Adam and Ed during the golden era of the podcast. I just wanted to make a shout out to Botter, Ed, Cesar, and Ashley for all the hard work and dedication you put into the cast. 300 episodes is truly a milestone, and you all should be proud. Thanks for the insight, the reviews, the recommendations, the laughs, and above all else, the friendship. Here's to 300 more. Cheers.
Yo, Short Box crew, it's your boy Warren, aka Bard of Darkness, and I just want to say congratulations on this monumental moment in the show, your 300th episode. 300 episodes. It's insane. We've laughed, we've cried, we've hated Cesar, we've loved Cesar, and everything in between. So I guess what I'm really trying to say is I'm just really proud of you guys. Keep up the great work. And I love you. See you later.
Yo, what's going on? It's Mega Ran. Just want to show some love to the Short Box. It's one of my favorite podcasts. Happy to say I've had the pleasure to be on a couple times, but man, I remember being on the road, just literally ripping down the highway just to make it on time to pop in for an episode before a show in Jacksonville. And y'all always show love. It's always great vibes, great conversation, and also know how to have a good time, how to conduct interviews, how to not ask the same question 700 times. But yeah, man, I'm a huge fan of Short Box. And here's to 7,000 more episodes with Mega Ran appearing on at least, let's just say 5 of the next 7,000. That should be doable, right? All right, y'all. Peace and love. I'm out.
Someone come up to me at the comic shop and they're like, I'm really good friends with Bader. I was like, are
You're
ya?
obviously not.
Are ya?
You're obviously not good friends with Bader. Hey, who's Bader?
I wish I could remember who it was.
Actually, that was me. And thank you for blowing up my spot on the show.
I wish you would have hit him back with, Arya, do you do a podcast with them every Sunday? I guess not. That'll be 11:17.
Does he make fun of your scarf? I don't think so.
All right, I was gonna wait until C stopped stuffing his face with
never
with chips and
I'm ready.
cheese.
I'm a professional. I'm ready.
Getting blue cheese all over the equipment.
I will admit, he got it away from the mic, so that does work. Does everyone have their refill of drinks?
Mm-hmm. That is the problem.
I don't see the problem.
L'chaim.
Cheers. Happy 300 for the 17th.
Well, Ashley straight edge over here.
I know, fucking Ian Mackay chilling out. Fugazi.
All right,
XXX Ashley. Lanny Hoy XXX.
All right, Shortbox Nation. We received some emails last week that we didn't get around to, but not for lack of trying, but because we were joined by a special guest on our last episode.
True.
Cesar, Redemption Round. Who was our guest on our last week's episode?
Thank you,
Go.
I believe it was Regina King.
Yeah.
That's
a big get.
No, it was not Regina King. Because Jim Rugg was on last week's episode.
Rugman.
We didn't get around to emails. We spent over an hour talking about his new Blacklight comic, October Beyond in 1976. If you haven't heard that episode, I highly recommend it. So I want to get around to emails today. We got two in celebration of 300. So I'd like to go ahead and get around to those. See, are you done eating?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Eating, I'm fine.
All right.
Drinking, I'm not.
So give us our first email, please.
All right, here we go. Road to 300, bitches.
Whoa.
From Justin Lane 30. Hello, Shortbox Nation. It is Mr. I'm Famous. Happy 300th episode, guys. This show has certainly earned everything it's received in the years from fans like me who love you guys and what you do for the nerd community in Jax. I'm grateful and proud to call myself a member of this huge, geeky family. Happy 300th, guys. I love you guys. From Justin.
Hey.
P.S. Botter, we need more cool Patreon gifts and comic events. Again, no matter what the cost, literally, just take my money.
Yeah.
Here, take it. That's from Justin, man.
Thanks,
That's nice,
Justin.
right?
I appreciate the love. So to answer your question, Justin,
yes,
about cool Patreon gifts and comic events, no matter the cost. So as you may have noticed, I think a few folks that are listening were probably expecting, in true, Botter fashion, I love nostalgia. They're probably expecting a big old nostalgia fest for the 300, but that was not the case this episode.
If they know you, they're expecting, guys, a ginormous Botter poster will be sent to your house.
Cut out.
A giant cut out.
8x10 glossy headshots of yours truly, Botter Milligan. So whenever you have a nightmare, he can just look at you and tell you.
What are those things called? The fat heads? Like you stick them on the wall?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Instead of athletes, you have
a big Botter head.
Just a Botter looking at you like, it's going to be okay. Give me your Patreon money.
It's like MODOK.
I wanted to say we didn't do the whole nostalgia route because we've actually got. We're going to save all that for a really cool project, and I want to toss it to C because he is the man leading said project and future event.
Since this is the 300th episode, I think it is important that we essentially just drop this on you guys now. We have been trying to come up with a documentary / expose for the short box that basically kind of covers all the funny, and it'll cover people that you've seen before in the past, people that are currently here, a few faces and voices that you haven't heard in a long time. Stick around. I mean, we've got a lot of exciting things coming, and I think this documentary is just basically the tip of the spear. We're mainly trying to push the boundaries. It's something we do here on the show, right, Bonner? Like, the listeners are worth it. The audience is worth it.
Indeed.
All of our fans are worth it. And hopefully, once this is done, this will be yet another thing that we can give to you guys and just say, here, thank you. Like, thank you so much. So just stay tuned and keep your eyes open for it.
So sometime in December is when you can expect that. Of course, Justin, you being a patron, you already know that patrons will get first dibs at when tickets will be available, when the event happens. So it is a good time to be a Shortbox patron. Justin, thank you for that email. We got one more email talking about patrons. This is another one from a good friend of ours and patron.
This email is titled Undercover Nerds, with a lot of looky emojis of eyeballs. What's going on, Shortbox fam? Big congrats on making your way to 300 episodes. I got a pretty good question I'd like to run past y'all. This is from Trey Namo, okay? Who would you guys label as undercover nerds that most people wouldn't really know are really about that nerd life? Personally, I'd have to go with the Godfather himself, Method Man. Damn it, he took mine. Method Man, Mr. Meth, a.k.a. Johnny Blaze, has a massive 30,000 plus comic book collection that he stores in his privately owned warehouse. He has some spectacular gem books that spotlight his impressive collection, such as his near mint Hulk 181, First Appearance of Wolverine, and of course, Fantastic Four #1. So that's my undercover nerd. What's yours? As always, Shortbox. DJ Paul is a dog. One you do not trust. You leave yo green around me, cuzzo. Your green gonna get lit up. You leave your drink around. Believe yo drink gon' get drunk up. You leave yo geek around me. And when she bad, she gon' get stuffed. Whatever Barter's weird sign-off is. Bonus points if anyone other than Barter can name what this song came from. Best regards, our hood-ass Trey Namo.
Yo.
Trey Namo.
Trey is a fucking fool.
I can't believe Trey did that shit.
So, Trey, I guess, really enjoyed the last episode in the email that C had read, and how just utterly corny he made WAP sound.
I was like, WAP?
So he included a
lyrics
whole
from a fucking 3-6 Mafia song nobody's heard in years.
So that was that little bit of confusion.
You're welcome, Trey, by the way.
Yeah, that was good.
Trey was probably like, yo, I'm going to get him with this one.
So I guess let's answer his question. Who is an undercover nerd that people wouldn't really know about?
Can I do another Wu-Tang guy?
Yeah, go ahead.
RZA? Because of all he's like such a big like kung fu movie nerd, you know. So I was I'm thinking he might branch off into other stuff.
That's a good one. Ashley, what about you? You know a whole bunch of famous people. Who's undercover nerd?
Is Titus Welliver? Is he famous enough to be? Yeah, the only time he ever answered me back on Twitter, we were talking about Savage Wolverine.
Oh wow! Like Frank Cho, Savage Wolverine,
and he has like a whole like a ton of like the hot toys.
Ooh,
and we were talking about hot toys for a minute. The only time he's ever talked to me on Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ashley,
can I admit I have no idea who that is? Who is that?
Gosh, he's been in so much stuff.
His main vehicle right now is Bosch on Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Okay,
that's in like season 7, I think. They're either filming it or just came out.
Yeah, I know him from Lost and
the Transformers movie.
Okay. Now, I know exactly who you guys. That's good. Okay,
hold on. I'm about to do a high five alley oop with Ashley here. Okay. Do you want to nerd Nicolas Cage?
Oh, yeah.
Come on. I mean, people know that he might be a nerd, but like in our community, everybody knows he's a nerd. But like everyone knows he's
just batshit crazy.
He's actually he's actually Nicholas Coppola. Yeah. Like his uncle is Francis Ford Coppola, like a famous Italian director. I'm doing chef's kiss fingers right now.
This guy.
But he changed his name to Cage, one, because he wanted to make it on his own steam, and two, Luke Cage is his favorite superhero. Aside from the Ghost Rider, of course. Everybody knows.
Doesn't he have a Ghost Rider tattoo?
Yes, that they had to digitally edit out for the movie.
Isn't his son? Doesn't he got
his son's name is Kal-El.
Thank you.
So Nicolas Cage, Sebastian Bach, Shaq, and I can't remember anyone else are known for having Action Comics #1.
Sebastian Bach, really?
Yeah, dude. Sebastian Bach is a huge. And Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah. I'll go ahead.
They're all huge Superman fans.
Yeah.
Speaking of Superman, my selection is
nobody cares.
300 episodes, and that joke still
doesn't.
Oh, so funny.
I'll go ahead and admit that I'll never forget the episode where Shaq was doing his MTV Cribs episode, and it was he had like a Superman bed. He's a huge Superman fan. Like he's got the tat. I don't know if he rivals Jerry Seinfeld or anyone like that, but I know that.
And he played Steel.
Yeah,
exactly. Steel.
Yeah. So, but he's
John Henry Irons, man.
He is a giant. No pun intended. He is a giant Superman fan.
Oh, I see what you did there.
So I'll go ahead and answer that. Thank you for that email, Trey. I want to go say, Corey and Tony Aopi, I got your emails. I promise I'll read it next episode. Last voicemail I'll play for this segment is a voicemail from a good friend of ours, our sponsor himself, Mr. Ben Kingsbury, owner of Gotham City Limit Comic Shop. Let's hear what he's got to share this week.
Hey guys and gals, Ben K here from Gotham City Limit in Jacksonville, Florida with another scheduled interruption for you. First, let me say congratulations to everyone involved in 300 episodes at the Short Box Podcast. What an accomplishment. This week, DC brings us Death Metal number 4 rocking our shelves, along with the Doomsday Clock finally being released with all 12 issues in one solid book in the trade paperback form. Marvel's Exoswords storyline rolls on this week with Hellions, New Mutants, and the Exoswords Handbook. And Amazing Spider-Man hits in back-to-back weeks with number 50. Dynamite Comics starts their horror month with Dynamite number 1. Warhammer 40K gets a mini-series, and Image brings us Commanders in Crisis number 1. Again, congratulations to everybody at the Short Box. We're honored to be a part of it, and we wish you the best in the future. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Holy shit! Tying in with our 300.
Ben, thank you so much for that voicemail.
Yes.
As always, check out Gotham City Limit if you're in the area. With that being said, I want to go ahead and jump into our last segment of the show, our infamous champion season. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, Champion Season is the last segment of the show where we all have the opportunity to highlight a few things within comic books and pop culture that we feel deserve a spotlight. These things could be a comic book itself, a movie, a TV series, a video game, a podcast, just whatever we feel like, hey, this is really dope. I'm really into it this week. More people should check it out, and here's why. Ashley, will you do us the honors of championing the first thing for our 300th episode?
All right, so I'm going to champion The Realist by Asaf Hanukkah.
Oh, wow.
It's a hardcover collection of a bunch of comics that he did for an Israeli newspaper. So it's autobiographical, and it's a bunch of shorts, and his style is just so varied. There's a lot of different like illustrative styles in there, so it's not just like one style. It's all different kinds of things. Like it's really cool. Like it really shows just kind of how skilled he is. So it's hard when he works with his brother on things because I don't know who does what, just because Asaf is just so completely like widespread with his talents. But it's really interesting, and it's a really good book. Just like one little hardcover came out a couple years ago, and it's really cool.
It seems like since you mentioned it, I've had one or two people text me directly about everything that these guys have done.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, case you didn't notice, Tony Aoki being one of them. Like, yo, jump on the shit for real. And I'm like, Ashley already told me to my face. And he's like, no, I'm telling you. And like every morning at like 3 a.m., it's like I get a text from Tony Aoki like, yo.
Is he Eddie Brock Venom?
He's like, no. He's just like, yo, start reading the Hanukkah shit, bro. Read the Hanukkah shit before Hanukkah happens, bro. So,
yeah. They somehow flew under the radar, but they're so insanely talented.
The artwork you showed me was phenomenal.
Actually, I will say it is without a doubt, out of any of us here, your champion selections always get some sort of follow-up, praise, or whatever it may be. I feel like it resonates with a lot of people.
And Butter hates you for it.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, what about this Marvel stuff I championed?
Yeah, man.
Okay, now
stay on brand.
That's a good one. Do you have another one?
I have one more. So this is more of like a kid's book. It's an Archaea book. It's by Ben Queen, wrote it. Joe Todd Stanton did the artwork for it. So it's called Bear, and it sounds really sad. So it's about a seeing eye dog that loses his vision.
What the hell?
How ironic.
Yeah. So it's like it's a kid's book, but it's super sweet and has really nice illustrations. And it was just one of those things where like I looked through it and I was like, I gotta get this. It's a really cute story. It's got like, these little like raccoons in it and stuff. So it's a really good read, even if you don't have kids. I mean, I guess better if you have kids, you could read it to your kids. But
nah, fuck that.
It's you don't
probably
don't want
to read this book.
It's like a nice hardcover, so you probably don't want your kids touching it. So you just get it for yourself.
Hell yeah,
Ed, I'll pass it to you. What do you want to champion today?
I'm gonna do a couple. I'm going to follow up from earlier is the Marvel Snapshots Cyclops. It's just one issue. It's basically like story about Cyclops growing up, and I'm not a huge Cyclops fan, but the author Jay Middleton. I think he does an X-Men podcast. So I just figured I'd pick it up. And it's really cool. So it shows, Cyclops growing up kind of like in an orphanage and seeing the Fantastic Four on TV. And that's what inspires him to be a hero. Because this is before his powers kick in. But he was getting these, crazy headaches, and he was kind of an outcast even there. Like everyone picked on him. Even the little kids thought he was weird. So, but it was, him seeing the Fantastic Four in action inspired him down the road to become a hero. And it's a nice little coming of age tale. And at the end, he's kind of leading the X-Men. He's got like 4 or 5 screens, like telling, okay, you guys need to do this, keep the people calm, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, Psylocke, basically putting out all the commands and stuff.
Keep dressing skimpily.
Yeah.
I love Cyclops.
And then talking to, Reed, because I guess Reed needs help. I guess
with his marriage.
Yeah. He needs Namor taken out.
Right.
But he has a situation that he needs the X-Men's help in. And then he basically quotes him from when he was a kid. Like, this is why we do this.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So it's a really nice story. And then even if you're not a Cyclops fan, it's a really cool kind of little coming of age one shots. Very nice. And then season 2 of The Boys. Let's go opposite here.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Holy shit. They're doing a season 3. It's completely different from the comic. I'm surprised what they did with Stormfront. I don't know if this might be a spoiler, but like I said, in the comic, Stormfront is a Nazi super soldier, one of the first super soldiers that basically got rebranded. And then they made Stormfront kind of like this alt-right type character. So kind of tackling, I guess, today's politics, but it's not too heavy-handed, It doesn't really, shame you or beat you over the head with it. But then you find out that she is like, and they changed the whole story. So if you read the comic, this is a totally different thing. So eventually she's found out that she is the first super soldier, because Vought was a Nazi scientist that basically came to the States, which is totally different. And she's been through a few different superhero incarnations over the years because she's older. And they play some homage with, if you've read the comic, Love Sausage. So those are who get that. And
it's my nickname in college.
It's what you think it is too, but it's like a little throwback to the comics, and the fight scene with Stormfront is a throwback to the comics. And like, it's just, they keep enough of it to keep it like, to kind of appeal to the fans of the book, but they changed it, and I think it's better. I think it's better than the source material. Damn. So if you're kind of on the fence about season 2 really ramps things up.
Okay. I watched half of episode 1, and then I just got busy.
Yeah.
And then I got hella nerd shame from Ryan, of all people. Ryan. Because he was like, yo, Boys is awesome.
No, I watched the same thing, because I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I just kind of, and then, someone, and then I got messaged too. It's like, hey, are you watching The Boys?
Yeah, I need to see
it. It's like, okay, let me know when you watch it. He wouldn't even tell me. He's like, what? Let me know when you watch it.
Well, it's even better now because it's already done, right? Like, this was the last episode this week.
But they're doing the season 3.
Okay, so I can just watch everything in full, which is perfect.
Everything has been released, so you can just, because it was coming out, I think they dropped like 2 episodes and then week by week. But they're doing a season 3, and it ends, and there's a lot of callbacks to the comic, so the fans of the comic will enjoy it too.
Okay. Sounds good. C, I'm going to go to you, man. What do you want to champion today?
So, because it's October, I have been reading nothing but Batman. And I typically haven't been reading Batman in like a long time. And I've been catching up. I never read War Games. One, because it just happened to be an event that took like way too long and had a bunch of tie-ins.
Was that the one with they took over the city? Like all the...
So the idea being that Batman had a contingency to stop gang warfare in Gotham by seeding gang warfare and then stopping it by introducing his alternate character, Matches Malone.
Oh, okay.
So Matches Malone was going to kind of stop it, but no one really knew that Matches Malone, spoilers, is Batman.
Matches Malone.
And Stephanie Brown, spoiler, no spoiler, like that's actually her superhero name. After being fired from being Robin, she decides to try and get on Batman's good graces by taking his plan and enacting it in Gotham. But it backfires because she doesn't know who Matches Malone is. So gang warfare erupts in Gotham, and it is a street level. You don't see any fucking like dark side or any weird villains that are outside of Batman's purview. Right.
Yeah.
It's just straight like Bruce is beating the shit out of like gangsters, like old school, like street level detective shit. So and that's not a new story. War Games came out a while back. And then I read that. Then I read Bruce Wayne Batman Fugitive, which is really good. Batman gets framed. Well, Bruce Wayne gets framed for a murder. And they have to send him to jail. And the entire Bat family is more or less trying to solve Bruce Wayne's like frame job, which is like a legit good detective story. So those are really good. And on top of, the classics like Long Halloween, Haunted Night, all that stuff. I've been trying to fill up my October with that sort of thing. But the biggest thing I'd like to champion, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is Law and Order SVU.
Oh, boy.
I'm not kidding. I fell down a Dick Wolf hole. Dick Wolf hard.
That is the most 40-year-old dude thing.
Fuck you. I'm not 40 until next year. It is so good. I can't say, like, reading these, like Greg Rucka runs on Batman and Ed Brubaker runs on Batman, they are as good as, like, a Law and Order episode. Just nobody gets in tights and punches somebody at night, right? Like, it's legit good. So I would say those are my champions.
Solid champions. And I'm fronting 100%. I've bonded with my mom plenty of times over the most random murders and New York crimes.
That's
ever.
awesome.
So, I respect that 100%. I will go ahead and champion the trailer that we got for Invincible. That is set to premiere on Amazon Prime sometime in 2021. If you're not familiar with Invincible, it is a comic.
It is Dragon Ball Z.
It's Dragon Ball Z meets coming of age superhero teen story Spider-Man, Superman. A Dragon Ball Z kind of epic fight scenes, but it is a comic book series that was published by Image. I think it was one of Robert Kirkman's first comic book series, or at least the one that helped kind of put him on the
parallel
map.
with Walking Dead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. But it is a comic book series that came out from Image a lot of years back. It was drawn by Ryan Otley at some point. I don't remember the original artist's name. I think the original artist only did Cory Walker.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
I can't believe I pulled that out. But I think Cory Walker did the first 6 or so issues. Then Ryan Otley came on board, and it was
when did it come out, dude?
A good minute ago.
Like 2002?
Yeah.
I will try to simultaneously look this
That's
up.
Dude, that comic is.
I wonder if they'll keep all that gore like the later
issues get. So one thing
ripping people's faces off and shit. It's like, Jesus.
One thing about this animated approach makes me hopeful that they can stay as faithful to the source material. It's the issue 1 came out January 22nd, 2003.
Goodness gracious.
Early 2000s book.
It just wrapped up, like a year ago?
Not too long ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And it was one of those comic book series that had a very clear ending. Like Robert Kirkman was like, hey.
And a big kick in the nuts in the middle.
Yeah.
Huge kick in the nuts.
Yeah, big time. This is a comic book series among many where Drew has sung its praises for so many years. He tried to put me on for like many years, and I didn't decide to read it until just some random fucking inkling I had. I'll give Invincible a shot, and boy was I in for such a fun treat. I got to catch up on 100 issues. I had such a good time because I love Spider-Man, because I love Dragon Ball Z fights, because I love just superhero comics. It is Robert Kirkman's love letter to just the shit that he grew up on, and I can't recommend the comic book series enough. But this trailer has gotten me excited.
Is that Netflix or
Amazon Prime?
Oh, so they are going to keep the gore.
Yeah, so exactly, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, if they can stay pretty faithful to the boys and everything that goes on with that show, then they can definitely stay faithful to Invincible, because it's animated. And I'm not saying that the gore absolutely drives it, because that's not the case.
I'm just saying
there's a lot of heart,
because it's such a because to me it took such a tonal shift. You know, once that big, the bombshell was revealed, it's and it's like, oh my God, when they're taking over planets and just ripping dudes in half.
It is so epic, man. It's it's
because it's such clean superhero artwork, and then that gore just
Ryan Otley leans into it. He loves that stuff. But the trailer made me really excited. Like I said, it's going to premiere on Amazon Prime. I think it's 1 season so far. 8 episodes, so I'm sure that they're just going to do the first trade, him becoming of age, learning about his powers, learning about his dad's superhero origin. things like that. And it's the production company is Skybound, which happens to be the comic book company
I guess
that
they have
makes
their
it.
own production.
Yeah, which is awesome. So I'll champion that.
Kirkman has that Walking Dead money.
Oh, dude.
Big time. And then speaking of Dragon Ball Z, I will go ahead and champion Dragon Ball Fighter Z for the PS4. There was a big in Japan sale on the PlayStation Network, and they had Dragon Ball Fighter Z marked down from $100 to $15.
Wow.
Is this the RPG?
No, this is the fighting game.
$100?
Yeah, it was. Well,
Wow.
it comes with the Fighter Pass
It's a bundle.
season.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes with Fighter Pass season 1, which includes like if the stock roster of characters is 16 for just the stock game, Fighter Pass season 1 added 8 more characters. So you were paying for the stock plus the Fighter Pass
Jesus,
1.
they got you so bad.
Oh, absolutely. Where's the thing? I can't find my
Fucking
fucking.
took your
I
ass.
cannot find my the copy that I physically bought. So I haven't had this game since like Fight Night, since we had the Dragon Ball Z Fight
Someone
Night.
stole that shit.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's been years since I played it, and then I see the sale and it's $15, and I get characters like Android 17, Brawly, and even movie characters like Frieza's brother Cooler. So I had to buy it and
Freezer and Cooler.
I believe it's Kuda.
So yo, this ain't straight chilling. So the ability to play this game again has made me extremely happy. It is the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 of Dragon Ball Z games. So I will go ahead and champion Dragon Ball Fighter Z. They've added way more characters. They've added like new features.
I've added it to my collection.
I'm going to go and break into Steve's house, steal those amazing Spider-Man 300 copies,
God
and my
damn
game
it.
back. So I'll go ahead and champion Dragon Ball Fighter Z and Invincible Trailer 1, and that will wrap up this long episode.
300.
Yeah, happy 300. I want to thank
Chuti.
Trey and Justin for sending in emails. I want to thank our sponsor, Ben from Gotham City Limit, for that voicemail.
Yo, I'm going to let you finish.
And most importantly, I want to thank the Shortbox Nation for tuning in, not only today for our big 300th episode, but for as long, for
Sticking with us this whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For as long as the Shortbox has been around. I will double down on my statement from the beginning that we have the best listenership.
Man,
that
I
a
thought
podcast-
you were going to do it. Like,
no.
you're like, yo, I will double down on my statement from the beginning that we have the best goddamn show host in Jacksonville, Barter Mulligan.
I should have said something completely unrelated.
I was looking at you like, yo, are you going to do it?
We have the best Philly steak sandwich that you can.
Oh my God.
Anyways, no, I'm serious. I will double down on my statement that we have the best podcast listener or best listenership a podcast could ask for. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, week out.
Completely lucky to have a fan base like we do. It is a treat, and I can't. Every time we get an email, every time we see somebody at a live event, every time we get a new patron, it's something that blows all of our minds to the point where, like, man,
Yo, people like us.
no, honestly,
Somewhat.
the idea that we get to make cool shit
Yeah.
for other people, stuff that we would listen to for others, is still such a privilege, especially now in this time when everybody's kind of like still sticking indoors and looking for stuff to do, and we get the opportunity to basically say, "Here, hope you guys like this," you know?
Yeah. In true Shortbox manner, I want to go ahead and also let our listeners know some things that are coming up. So as you guys know, if you've been rocking up with us for a long time, Shortbox math. Every 50 episodes equals a season. That would mean that 301 officially gets us into season 7 of the Shortbox.
New theme song?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So all right, some things you can expect in season 7. The lucky season, is what I'll dub it.
Ooh.
New intro song. I've already got there goes the kava all over the floor. I've already got an awesome interview with one of the industry best lined up.
I'm right here, man. Thanks.
Nice.
No,
Thank
not
you.
you, fool. In regards to our Patreon, like I said earlier, we have bonus episodes, but we are launching a new podcast series called
Pilot's License.
Sorry about that. By the time this episode drops, we'll have 2 episodes of that new series already launched. We're covering old animated comic book cartoon shows. We've already done Spider-Man Unlimited, and of course, Batman the Animated Series. It is a great time to sign up, become a patron. Not only do you get bonus episodes, merch, and all that good stuff,
but we
also
get your money
that go towards these expensive ass podcast bills That's all I've got to share. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and rocking with us for our 300th episode.
Thank you so much for your money. Thank you.
Champagne doesn't buy itself.
I've got one more batch of voicemails from close friends of the show that I'll go ahead and sign off.
Do you guys have anything to add?
No,
I know this is.
want to
hold
go
on.
home.
No, I was going to say
for like 8 hours.
Yeah, no. I was going to say do you got any sign off for the 300th, Ashley? Do you got anything to say?
No, nothing important.
Looks
Just
like
thanks for not firing me.
made it.
Thanks for not firing you.
Yeah, thanks for not firing me. I'll keep showing up until you tell me not to.
Actually, I feel like Ed and C would have got fired well before.
Yeah.
Well,
First one
I would have
fired.
fired me before you.
Ed, do you have anything?
No, it's crazy. We've done this as long as we have. Like, Ashley was saying earlier, it doesn't feel like we've done this the last, couple of years? It's been way more.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool to reach this milestone, but yeah, it's cool.
Butter?
Oh, trust me. I mean, do we have another 2 hours?
Jesus Christ.
I will
You
go
just
ahead.
opened a scroll up.
Yeah. And first I shall thank my mother who birthed. No, I will keep it short and sweet and say that the Short Box is the most dedicated I've been to any project or artistic endeavor. It alone has given me, I feel like, a big sense of purpose in life. And I can't say more than that without tearing up and crying all over this microphone. Aww. I want to thank everyone that tunes in, week out, sends me a message, whether it be good or bad. I would have never expected 8 years ago when Walt told me about doing a podcast about comic books.
I think it was me.
I would have never expected it to be what it's become now. And I want to thank the listeners for making it all the worthwhile. And especially you guys, man. Like week in and week out, you guys are taking an hour or two out of your lives to, entertain, not only close friends, but also
you
random
pay
folks.
us.
Yeah. Not much though. Enough to buy
Finally.
enough to buy a hot dog at 7-Eleven.
Hot dog is made of friendship.
The Short Box encompasses all the best things in life. It encompasses my friends. It encompasses my comic books and things that I love. And it's probably the best thing in my life. So I will end it with that. Cool. See, what about you?
Man, thanks. That's all
no
I
one gives
say.
a shit. Thank you so much. I waited 300 episodes.
Hey, you don't come off like a jerk either. That's the best part.
Doesn't matter.
That's the best part. No. You said your piece. You set the tone.
See, I would absolutely love to hear your closing remarks.
Sure.
It's been a good run.
Okay. Get fucked.
Final
That's what I have to say. No, just thanks. That's it. Thanks. Stay tuned. We got a lot in the future.
The best is yet to come.
Yeah, serious.
My arm hurts from patting myself on the back so much.
That's my arm.
I'm going to go ahead and end this episode and play these last voicemails from some close friends and family. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Love you guys.
Happy 300 Shortbox Nation.
You have reached the Short Box Hotline. No one is available to take your call. Leave a message and keep it geeky.
Huge congratulations to the Short Box Podcast on hitting 300 episodes. That 300 is a big number, but what I think is even more impressive is that over 300 episodes, not just but I think the entire community and your listeners have seen this team become even more passionate and more in love with what they're doing, and that comes across in every single episode. You've given an additional bit of identity to Jacksonville in a very positive way, which I and many, many of us are grateful for. Congratulations, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future.
Message deleted.
Hey, yo. This is your boy Shaggy Black checking in. I'm in hot ass Texas. I was actually outside chilling, but I decided to hang back and drop a line for you boys. Hey man, episode 300, man. Episode 300 for them Short Box boys and girls. I'm proud of y'all, man. I'm super proud to actually be a part of the team when I had the chance. And, your boy is out there. Much love. Y'all show me love. I'm going to continue showing y'all love. And when I get back to blue ball, man, we're going to kick it. Love y'all. Y'all be good.
Good girl. Yeah. First of all, congratulations to the Short Box on their 300th episode. I am so incredibly proud of you guys. I know it hasn't been easy to get here, but we appreciate you guys. I've learned so much about the world of the comics, and I cannot wait to keep listening to 300 more episodes. Congratulations, guys.
What's up, Shortbox crew? It's Blake. I just wanted to congratulate you guys on your 300th episode. I started off with Podcast of Doom, so that was back in 2017. Also glad I've gotten to know you guys over the time, so it does feel like it's more than a podcast and listen to a bunch of friends talk about stuff that I like. Hopefully we get to 600 so I can leave another message.
Shortbox crew, what up, though? You know, it's your man, Mass Appeal. I know I'm late, but you know I'm Latino, man. You know, we ain't on time for nothing. Want to congratulate y'all, man, for 300 episodes. Humongous, monumental, like, that's huge. Shout out to y'all, shout out to the team, shout out to the squad. Y'all keep it easy, man. Appreciate y'all always putting out that dope culture, man. Taking care of hip-hop, the comics, everything, you know what I'm saying? And keeping Jacksonville dope. Peace.
Hello, may I speak to the Shortbox 300 episode? You did it! Your man, Willie Evans Jr. A 300, may 300 more be bestowed upon you by the gods of recorded sound. I want to be there for the 10,000th episode. 15,000, you did it. 500,000 episodes of Shortbox. How did we get here? How am I still alive? Congratulations, fellas.
Hey, Shortbox, it's Brad. Yeah. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just calling in to wish you all a congratulations on the 300th episode. I'm sure everyone and their mama has told you this by now, but thought I'd chime in on the celebration. You guys have accomplished a lot this year. I mean, didn't your host win an award this year? Wow, that guy, man. I mean, he really carries the team. I don't think he gets enough credit, but what do I know, right? Just my opinion. Underrated if you ask me. Anyway, I can't wait to see what you have in store for the next season. I'm sure Botter is going to take it to another level. He's probably got something awesome in the works, and I'm sure the rest of you guys will be there or something. Anyway, happy 300th, and what's that awesome sign off again? Oh yeah, that's right. Keep it geeky.